Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Browse News broadcast. According to GG Press, U.S. President Donald Trump stated to reporters at the White House on June 10 that the United States would attack Iran again. This declaration comes amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. Recently, Iran shot down a U.S. military helicopter, prompting President Trump to warn that Iran must pay the price. Although Gulf nations, including Saudi Arabia, had previously requested a postponement of military action, the situation has entered a dangerous new phase, as reflected in a sharp drop in New York stock prices over concerns regarding stalled U.S.-Iran negotiations. President Trump's latest remarks underscore the highly volatile state of relations between Washington and Tehran. According to a report by the Epoch Times, Palau is strengthening its defense cooperation with the United States in response to the Chinese Communist Party's CCP rapid military expansion in the Western Pacific. Palau's president, Sir Angel Whips Jr., expressed strong support for the construction of U.S. military radar systems on the island nation, noting that one radar station has already been built and is awaiting final installation with completion expected next year. The two nations are also discussing the potential deployment of Patriot surface-to-air missiles. Under the Compact of Free Association, the U.S. is responsible for Palau's defense. President Whips emphasized the concept of peace through strength, stating that such defense measures would ensure Palau's national security. Despite economic and political pressure from Beijing, which recently sent research vessels into Palau's exclusive economic zone without permission, President Whips reaffirmed Palau's diplomatic ties with Taiwan, describing Taiwan as a trustworthy partner and emphasizing that Palau's diplomatic choices. According to GG Press, the New York stock market experienced a sharp decline on June 10. The sell-off was fueled by mounting concerns over the deadlock in peace negotiations between the United States and Iran, coupled with rising crude oil prices which weighed heavily on investor sentiment. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plunged by $953.33, or nearly 2%, to close at $49,918.78. Meanwhile, the tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite Index dropped 509.32 points to finish at 25,169.50. Market observers noted that the lack of progress in resolving geopolitical tensions in the Middle East has heightened fears of prolonged instability, prompting investors to shed risky assets. According to a report by Global News, Russia's foreign ministry has harshly criticized a drone production deal signed between Canada and Ukraine, calling Canada a warmonger and promising an appropriate response. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova stated that the agreement, which will supply Canadian-made drones to Ukraine, represents a significant escalation of Ottawa's involvement in the conflict. She also threatened to publish the locations and addresses of all Canadian production facilities involved in the venture. The barrier signed late last month by Canadian Defense Minister David Maguni and his Ukrainian counterpart involves a joint venture between Ukrainian company Airlogics and Hamilton-based drone maker Sentinel R&D to produce drones in Canada for Ukraine's military. Maguni dismissed Moscow's criticisms as expected, emphasizing that they would not affect the agreement and that NATO remains united in assisting Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky continues to seek similar production and technology-sharing deals with other NATO and G20 allies to counter Russia's ongoing military campaign. According to UPI, Belgian health officials have rejected a U.S. demand to impose strict entry bans on travelers from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, ahead of the World Cup, which is set to begin in North America. The United States proposed the ban as part of travel restrictions aimed at preventing the spread of Ebola, warning that it might consider travel restrictions against countries that do not comply. Currently, the U.S. has banned travelers who have recently visited the DRC or Uganda. Belgian Health Minister Frank van den Broek stated that Belgium would continue to rely on scientific guidance from organizations like the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, rather than political demands. He emphasized that scientific consensus favors targeted action in crisis, hit regions rather than blanket travel bans. Belgium has established screening and quarantine protocols at departure points and hospitals to handle potential symptomatic arrivals. Van den Broek also criticized the United States for scaling back developmental and medical aid, which he argued has undermined the international response to the Ebola outbreak. The WHO declared a global health emergency regarding the DRC's outbreak in May, with nearly 600 confirmed cases reported. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.